Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. Okay, we'll get the important stuff out of the way right up front, and that is the beer that I drank. I still have a little cough here, so I'm going to take this to kind of assuage that. I drink Pabst. Apparently, some of you think that I have more refined tastes than I do. I don't. I'm a simple man. I like I like good food, but I can be happy with spam on a cracker as well. But anyway, I drink Pabst because I drink American beer. I do not like to drink foreign beer, and that includes companies that are owned by non-American companies. Just my way. Buy American when you can, right? So I drink PBR when I can't get Schlitz. That's my preferred, and then my second is Lone Star, and they've been out of that around here for a while. So PBR is good old school stuff, and that's kind of what I am. I do like stout. I don't like Guinness. It's a little bit bitter for me. I took a taste, and I really like Murphy's. I got onto that when I was in Ireland, but I don't think you can get it here in the United States. And anyway, you can't get it around where I am. So if anybody out there has a good suggestion for me for a nice, smooth, earthy, kind of on the sweet side stout that would be of the level of a Murphy's, give me a shout. That would be immensely helpful to my preparedness posture. Okay, now I said last night that I wasn't going to turn this into just a talking about other channels, right? And lo and behold, I get up this morning again, and another friend of mine, Real World Prepper, put one up, and I'd been thinking about him, buddy. I'd been coming close to texting you, wondering where the heck are you? I've been missing your videos, and right when I was thinking about him, up pops this video, so I watched it right away, and I won't step on it and tell you what it was about, but it's called Lessons from the Past, and it is a good one, and you all should watch it. It's about stepping up and doing things. It was written by a guy while he was in a concentration camp, a German concentration camp. Um, and it's got an exceptional message, and RWP delivers it in an exceptional way. I'm going to put, just like I did with Zombie, I'm going to put a link to that video right down here above my own links to my books and Patreon channel and things like that, so that you all can go right to it when you're done with this and watch it. It's excellent, and it addresses something that I think is of the utmost importance right now. Now I'm going to spin off of that. I was kind of talking about this kind of stuff that on one that I put up over on Patreon today, that I shot today and put up over there today. Don't think that one will ever get to YouTube. Here is just deals with things that I don't want to put on YouTube here. But it's kind of in the same vein. It's about what do we do. You know, many years ago, one of my favorite quotes was one that most of you are familiar with, I'm sure. It's by Edmund Burke. And it's the one that goes, all that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. Well, it has a nice ring to it, right? And so I thought that was great until I got to thinking about it. And then, and I've written in this, I think I might have mentioned this in one of my books, I'm not sure, but I've included it in other things that I've written. And I said I would have to question whether good men would do nothing in the face of evil. Okay, would a good man, if a man won't stand up, and a woman, you know, if a person will not stand up in the face of evil, could they be called good? Could they be considered good? And my position is no, you can't. An absence of action, as I think was included in the video that RWP put up, is an action in itself. You know, and there's another saying that silence always helps the oppressor, never the oppressed. There are a lot of quotes about these things, which tells you that this is a problem that goes back. Well, I'm sure it goes back to the beginning of history, and it's the old problem of when oppression comes to town, you're going to have a group that's oppressed, and what are the ones who aren't being oppressed doing while that oppressed group is being oppressed? You know that old when the Nazis came, they first came for that. I forget what it is, but they came for this group, but I wasn't that, so I didn't say anything. And then they came for the next group, and on and on and on. All of these things are classic sayings because of their truth. Well, we're coming to a time now, I think, it's what Reagan called the time of choosing. Things are developing so rapidly. We're seeing the changes around us in our world. They're coming at us from every direction. It's hard to keep up. You know, it's hard to focus on one thing because, well, kind of like Chuck Norris said in one of, I don't know whether it was a movie or maybe Texas Walker or Walker Texas Ranger. Well, I forget one of his things. Anyway, he has this great line. He says, "I'm gonna hit you with so many rights, you're gonna be begging for a left." Well, we are being hit with so many rights. Probably we don't know which are rights and lefts. It's just hard to keep track of them all. And this is what our opposition always does. It's a matter of just bringing everything, the whole kitchen sink, out there and hitting us right and left and right and left. You can barely, you know, focus on one thing before you're having to block something else or deal with something else over here or over there. And even when you try to encapsulate it, it's difficult because there is so much of it. This has a tendency to make a lot of people kind of shut down, and we've heard this over the last year and a half, whatever. You know, how often have we heard? And I've even heard some people with channels on here say, hey, I'm done. I'm not going to deal with it anymore. I've had it. There's nothing that can be done. I'm going to kind of pull in my horns and just take care of my family and all of that. And that's certainly understandable to me anyway. However, it's not the right way to go about it, in my opinion. The reason that it's not the right way to go about it, and I just wrote this, and I used to tell this to my students too, is that you know, either you do life or life will do you, and I don't like to be done by others. If we pull in and we just kind of circle our wagons and we retreat from the fight, we abdicate, first off, our responsibility to stand up if we consider ourselves good people. And secondly, we take away our ability to have an effect on the world around us. Now, you know, preparedness is to a great extent a defensive activity. But it shouldn't be just a defensive activity. It shouldn't be just to see us through those short times when there's a boil order or some inflation or, you know, a short-term grid down, lights out, snowstorm, flood, whatever like that. Real, complete preparedness, as I talk about it, that's the whole concept of integrative preparedness, everything working together, and as I write about in my books, is to enable us not just to survive in a passive way, but to enable us to have an impact on what's happening around us, to have an effect on what's going on. Doesn't mean that we're going to be able to change everything or turn everything right around right away. No, it doesn't mean that. Excuse me. Time for my pill. The good Lord knew what he was doing when he invented hops and barley, didn't he? um, it real preparedness means that we're preparing ourselves to be able to be in the fight. Okay. A lot of people are out there and they like to, walk around and with their guns and talk about how they're ready for the coming battle and fight and all the cool stuff, all the bang bang stuff. Um, but that's not where most of the fighting's done. Matter of fact, that's where just a little bit of the fighting's done, and that's where most of not that it's not important at the right time. I mean, it is appropriately, but most of the fighting's done, in interpersonally. It's done politically. It's done interpersonally. It's convincing people. And to completely abdicate that, I think, is totally irresponsible, just like not preparing is irresponsible. Preparedness is all about responsibility. And the responsibility should go beyond just ourselves, because there's nothing more important to our security and safety than the state of the world around us. First our immediate world, our neighborhood, our community, our city, our state, and then our country. Now, it can be argued that our country is already, gone. And I talk about this in quite a bit of detail on Patreon, the one I put up today. So if you want to get into it more, there, go over there. But I'm not going to get into it that much detail here. But I will say this, as a people, and I've said in the past that I think that our country, and sadly, our country as it exists now, as it has developed, is pretty much over. It's not going back the way it was. The fragmentation is too great. Humpty Dumpty, all the king's horses and all the king's men never put America back together again. That's the way it is. But there is going to be something come out the other side of this. And I don't intend just to wait and be a victim of that. Okay. I intend to participate, and I encourage everybody else to participate in what's going on so that we can have an effect on what that thing is that's coming out on the other side of this. We back to RWP's video today. If you you should watch that. That's what he's talking about, Alana. He takes that from a Christian perspective, which I really appreciate. I'm a Christian. You don't have to be a Christian to understand this, or to approve of it, or to to think that it's important, or to share those values. It's simply a matter of deciding whether you are interested in you and your children and your grandchildren living in a society, a country, with some semblance of liberty, personal freedom. And if you do, then you have to be a part of that. You have to be a part of that fight. You can't, hoping, I mean, that's for Santa Claus. I hope Santa brings me a new Corvette. Not me. I don't care about that. Remember, I'm a simple man. Um, but just waiting and seeing, what's going to happen is a weak approach, to be real honest, and a refusal to go into the fight. I won't condemn that because I can see that there would be a number of reasons for someone to feel that. But I'll say this, that it's not going to help the outcome. Okay? It might serve a personal purpose, and it's not for me to judge that. But it's not going to help the outcome. So, my main thing here is we are headed. I think the tough times are coming harder and faster. I think that we can see that every day, every week, we wake up to stuff that even 6 months ago we would have said, oh man, or that a year ago we were saying, you know what, someday they're going to be whatever. And guess what? Today's the day they're doing that. And now we're saying, this is going to lead to such and such. Well, that day is going to be here. It's not an abstract. It is a reality. It's going to be here. And just like today is today, that day will someday be today. And, if you have been involved in the fight and you've been preparing, it's going to be a lot easier and you're going to be a lot better situated to have an effect on it than if you'd said, oh, wow, I had hoped this day would never come. Well, it's coming. And it's coming faster than we, I think. So watch RWP's video. Excellent video. He's a great guy. And I don't worry, I don't have that many more friends who have channels, so but if I did and they were this good, I would feel like I really needed to share them with you, just for any of you who may not be familiar with him. Because I know a lot of our viewers overlap, but we all have viewers that don't overlap, and so I think that I owe it to you and to them to let you know about those things. So just think about that. Think about whether you just want to let this stuff roll over you, or whether you want to really take an active part and participate in trying to slow it, stop it, prepare for it, mitigate it, whatever. You're going to do one or the other. And you're going to be in a lot better shape if you actively participate. And if more of us do that, I'm not going to say that we can turn this thing around. I don't believe that we can. But we can sure as heck carve out something good on the other side of this when this whole mess collapses, and it's going to. And those of us who are ready, and those of us who stand for certain things and have come together and have supported each other and know who each other are, and are determined to carve out a better future for our children and grandchildren, will hopefully be able to do that. So you all have a good night. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And preparing well doesn't just mean stocking the beans and the Band-Aids and the you-know-whats. It means being a part of the world around you and affecting it so that it doesn't affect you in the wrong way. Okay? I'll take one more. If you want to join me in this, I know you're jealous. Now, you people that drink the fancy beer, see, I don't have anything against you. Good for you. Like I say, I'm a man of simple taste. And I'm going to go put this up and put RWP's link down there so you all can watch it. You all have a good night. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.